Hello, Acers, and welcome to the final square of the Advent calendar. Tell the truth, how many of you guys still have a chocolate left in the question mark one? The question mark was, well, partially just because I needed 6 squares, but also, what day do I need extra chocolate? That was the question. And we should be on day 27, so your calendar should be empty. So let's get on with the last 3 projects, and then we'll have, I'll put up the post, and then if people can add pictures of any of their cards or whatever in the post. So we are on project number 10, and we are making just a bit here a shaker card. My camera's at a weird angle right now, so I'm not exactly sure what is. I guess I'll just have to hold my stuff up. It's very weird today. I think the arm that the camera's on is dropping and it's giving a weird angle. So this is our shaker card, and this is copied from Stampin' Up. It is mostly copied from Stampin' Up. I made mine the easier way, frankly. So, woohoo! Shaker cards are fun. And this little shaker mix, so the free thingy that came with this day 10 in the calendar, was this little mix. And that thing, there was a jam-packed little bag there. So I poured mine in this container because it makes it easier to use. And I still have a fair bit of it left. I've used it for other things. I've also gone through here and picked out stuff. Like there's little plastic bows in there. These adorable little daisy flowers or whatever they're supposed to be. And then lots of just like little bits and pieces. Oh, that's right. There's the little plastic hearts as well. So some of them are big enough you can just pull them out and glue them on separately. They've been awesome. So it makes a great shaker mix. Now, I have to use this as a sample because I didn't grab a different one. If you watch the reveal videos from Stampin' Up, the lady that did this day, I don't actually know who any of them are. I think the one lady I had seen before, the rest of them, I don't recognize any of them, but and she showed you how to make a card. And the way Stampin' Up did it is they used window sheet, and they scored it like we did for our box last time. And then they wrapped it around. So instead of the way I put in the PDF with the clear envelope, just a minute. There's a couple different ways you can make a shaker card, because you can also put like a layer of cardstock, lift it up with dimensionals, and put a piece of window sheet. That's an awesome way to do it. That's a little chunk of window sheet. The way they did theirs was an entire piece of window sheet that they scored and then wrapped around. And to me, that's just so bulky and so heavy and so not necessary. So in case you're wondering, yes, that is how they did theirs, and that is not how we're doing ours. So we're doing ours the easy way. And I saw this method of doing shaker cards ages ago. And ever since then, I've always had a good stock of clear envelopes. Because, first off, clear envelopes, they're on low inventory right now. So I think part of that has to do with people converting. Sorry, I know that's not such a big word. But converting their stamp sets over. Because I know that's what I was using them for. I thought I had flowers in here, but apparently I don't. They're converting their stamp sets over, I think, and the clear envelopes come in quite handy then. They're good to put, you can put your card in it and mail it so it doesn't get all wrecked, and so the envelopes could be reused by the person at the other end. Like there's so many benefits to the clear envelopes. But yeah, this was I think the initial reason I bought them was somebody showed me how to make this shaker card. So I gave you guys all a piece of cardstock. I liked the colors of the Stampin' Up one, so I just copied their colors. But hey, we've proven that I do like Secrecy. So I gave you a sheet, and you can just emboss it in whatever you want. I'm quite taken with the Gathering Leaves, I think is what this one's called. What did I use on this one? Oh, same one. Oh, look at that. I have one's going up and one's going down. Well, let's go the different way then. All right, so I just pulled my note, so I guess we're about to find out if that matters, because normally you would emboss your cardstock, and then you would stick it in a clear envelope, one of the clear envelopes. Now I'm putting my embossed side, like the raised side here, and I'm putting it so that the front of so this is the front, right? So the flap is going to fold in behind you and you're not going to see it. If you want the debossed side to be your, ooh, that does look cool. I'm going to put the debossed side in. So whatever side you want to show, you want to put in the envelope so that the tab folds behind it and you don't see the tab. Now once you did that, I'm not actually sure why I already have my sparkles in here now. No, that's not going to work. So here's what we're going to do, because in lieu of spilling sparkles all over everywhere, I'm just going to, as soon as I have stuff in my way, there we go. I'm just going to take another one. So tab down. So I want this to be the front of my card. So I'm going to do this, and then you don't want to put in so many shaker bits that your card is so full it doesn't even shake, or it just clumps up in a big lump and makes your card like way too thick to ever mail. I'm not even sure, shaker cards, I mean, if I put the card like completely flat, I bet you it would fit through, but if in transit, even with this much in, everything got knocked down, it seems unlikely that it would fit through the mail slot. You probably have to put extra. But you don't need a ton. I think the whole point of shaker cards is the noise they make, but it is kind of fun, and you can see them like whee. But you don't need to have a ton. So mine is like a big tablespoon, a couple little teaspoons. I don't know what that actual measurement is, but we're going to put this in this envelope. So you want to put it on the front side. I know if I would have probably been able to get my piece back in there, but a lot of it was already going to the back side, so I didn't want that. Now we have not peeled off the little strip yet that's on here, so I had to stand that up to make that work. We haven't peeled this strip off. If you peel the strip off first, put it back on, because otherwise your bits and pieces are going to stick to it. And I try to keep, as much as I can, I'm trying to keep, sorry, this way. I'm trying to keep like this point down, okay? The envelope is a little wider than it needs to be. You could have cut, and I actually think in the Stampin' Up! Example they might have cut their card base like the exact size of the front of the card, a little bit bigger. But I don't want all these like sides and everything hanging over the edge, so I made mine a little bit smaller, so you have like a bit of a border around it. I like that look better. I think if you would cut it the full width, this would feel better. But we're gonna have like a little extra space on one side and a space on the top, which is fine. Just try as much as you can to keep all the sparkles. I'm trying to pour it out the way that makes the most sense, but I can't, because that side I have already peeled off the thing. You're just basically trying to keep all your shaker bits on the front of your card, so you're not trying to chase them down. Oh, I managed to get all of those out. Look at that. Okay. So once you have, and they'll stay better. Like I'm just doing a little maneuvering here. They'll stay better once you tighten this up and fold it over and stuff. So, but I'm just kind of tapping everything one way. We'll sort it out later. Right now, I just want to tap it one way. So now I'm going to pull off. Sorry, I moved my camera and I got to hold things away from me. I keep forgetting. So now I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to pull it as snug as I can up against that cardstock. And then I'm going to tap, tap, tap a little more. And I'm going to carefully flip my thing over. I don't want to shake everything back out again. You can't even see where the edge of this thing is because of the glass mat. Normally I would have just taped this to the glass mat, but really it does make more sense to put it on the silicone mat anyways. And then I usually just run my tear and tape halfway down the edge of the envelope. So I'm half on the envelope, half on the tear and tape. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold this, and I'm going to pull it as tight as I can and pull it all the way over. So that I have, so now my shakers are pretty much, I mean the odd one, I'm jammed in the corner now. The odd one might escape and get to, I actually literally have one. Oh no, there's one up there on the top too. But most of them will stay where they're supposed to stay now because I've snugged this up as much as possible. Woohoo! Now if you do yours and you shake it up and you're like, no, I don't actually think that's enough. Or no, that's way too much. You still have time, you can still pop this open. Pop out some, add some, whatever you need to. It will work. And then just tape it back up again. And then I like to make sure that this is not going to move. And I like tear and tape. So I just complete my square with my tear and tape. So that I'm now completely covered around the back. And this one looks to be a little bit on the, like it's in because of the way the thing is. So it's probably fine, but you do have the option. I obviously didn't pull very straight because I don't have enough room. So you have the option to put a second row there if you want, just so it goes right to the edge. But if you ever find that you don't have enough room, just pull the first one off and go over the second one, because I went like super crooked on mine. But there's ways. So I'm going to do that. Get those little burnish. And I'm going to take these. And I'm going to peel them off now. I'm taking them all at once. I'm a rebel. Stick it here. Could you do this with liquid glue? I suppose so. I would think that, like, well, pulling this over, it's sticking on its own. This one here, yes. Glue is so slippery, though, that I think you're going to get it everywhere. So to make sure you have, like, enough of it that goes in, like, you don't mind if it squirts out here. You're just gluing it down anyways. But I think just the process of getting everything into place, yeah, you're going to have to do this. And then because it's plastic, like you're gluing two pieces of plastic together, basically, the cello, I would think you'd want to, like, glue it down and hold it for a little bit and then add some more glue and put it down, because I would think this is going to be like slip sliding away kind of thing. So then I'm just going to find, like I said, I think it's about like an 1/8 of an inch border. So my thing is not straight at the bottom, so I'm just going to tap my stuff down and use where the stuff sits in lieu of where the cardstock looks like it should be. There we go. Pop that down. So somehow, I don't know if I just, it's last minute. Got that a little too high. I think it's because after you emboss cardstock, it kind of changes its shape a little bit. So I think I'm getting just a bit of that going on here. So then I've got it tacked down with my Shake-a-Bits. You got a piece for the inside for Stampin' there. And then with this one, because we have this, and this is going to be the biggest thing, I did put one layer of dimensionals because I have them underneath the big thanks thing, just because it's easier. But everything else, I basically put like flat down, and I'm just gonna tap those out of my way again because I was playing with it, because I can't stop. When you get them, like, seriously, you gotta shake. So yeah, I don't have the flowers. I'm not sure why I don't have flowers in my bag. What do I have in? I have so many like bits and pieces and partials and things left over. But I do not appear. I have tulips. I'm totally obsessed with these tulips. I have butterflies. What else can I make? Well, I could do it with butterflies. I have some butterflies cut out. Just to finish it off and show you a different, because I realize now my alternates all have flowers on them, so, okay, seriously, one of these things have butterflies in it. I'm just gonna have to get those all over the table. You don't have to have as much on the front, but you want to have a little something on the front. Just like this with just the shakers alone is not gonna be visually appealing, but you don't have to get quite as many layers and fancy as they did. There we go. There's my two butterflies I was looking for. I might need to quickly cut a third. So yeah, I just took, this is the back side. This is stitched, so make sure you put the, I'm off the thing again. Make sure you put the adhesive on the back. And I'm just using tear and tape again. I would imagine glue would work, like the liquid glue, Tombow, but you just have to hold it because it'll be a little slippery. Stuff is sticking to me. Okay. So I just stuck this one down. And then I gave you a piece of, I don't have enough stuff. I'm just going to give you just some basics. I don't have enough decorations cut. I thought I did, but I appear not to. I gave you a piece of tin foil. Gold foil. Seriously, I moved everything. I was rushing because we had a town hall right before this, and I totally screwed up everything on my desk. Here we go. Yeah, so you got gold foil, so you can cut out some branches or whatever. Did I do? Oh, the other one I did with gold foil too. I'm putting this up. You don't have to, but I'm putting the sentiment on dimensionals because it's easier, I find, to tie this straight. So what I like to do is, I know this is going to be the top thing that goes on. And I know that I'm going to have, just got to reach it. Yeah, I'll just do blue on blue on blue. I know I'm going to have a bow, which is going to go like this. I'm going to put it on over top of the butterflies, but basically to make your big floppy bow underneath, you just go like this. And you just lay it out in bow shape. And that works so well that I don't want to change it. I'll move that a little bit. And then this is going to go over top, right? So this is where I know like the final elements are going to be. So then use that to figure out, okay, so I'll put one butterfly here. Oops, where'd my other one go? And I'll put another one down here, right? And then glue your bits on, and glue. Like I said, I don't have enough pieces prepped here. I don't know, somewhere in one of these things I'll have leaves, but you know, stick your leaves and stick your flowers and whatever else you want on the thing. Get those all done, and then you can put on your bow, and then you can put your thanks over top. I will finish this one up with some actual flowers and whatever. This piece is a bit longer. I like to make sure it's a little bit bigger. Is it wider? Mine's about the exact width. You can trim it down afterwards. I made sure it was plenty wide. But just so that depending on wherever you get it, you have room to, you could do it from the left. You don't have to do it from the right side. You could do it from the left. And you can cut it down. If you want to put a different sentiment on it that's longer and put a band all the way across, you could do that. So yeah, the piece that's in there that's why it's so big. And then I just trimmed mine down and did my little like flag ends. And then you get your, this one obviously does not have enough on it, but like I said, I'm out of pieces, so there we go. So with enough pieces and all your little flowers and your bits on, and then I took a couple of the gems that we got, I forgot now what day, early on, and I just glued them down onto here. Now this is because I was doing these in the order that I was opening, in the order they were showing stuff. And then once I got to the end, I was like, okay, now I'm going to change and do what I want and add whatever I want to whatever day I want. But at this point, I was still kind of following along, because you could also use your goop, which I'm not sure if anybody commented on. There's another name for this, and I will find it. It's driving me nuts. But you could also just use this and put like a couple dots on instead of gluing things to this. And then you just have to make sure that you let it dry a lot before, because it'll be sitting on the plastic there. None of it's going to absorb into the paper like it would cardstock. So, and then we have shaker card. So that was lots of fun. I like shaker cards. So my stuff is, I'm feeling crowded. I have this box in front of me with extras in it, and it's just making me feel crowded. So I am just going to put that down there. Oh, so much better. I think it's, oh, you know what that's what I just realized. I'm going to turn the lights on. Just a minute. I'm thinking something's not right in here. Seriously, I was racing to I was on, the other one was a Zoom, so I had to like turn down Zoom to turn on Zoom to turn off Zoom to, okay. So there is card number 1. Now I did make one, if you like the design, because I do like this design, but you don't necessarily want a shaker card. You want to be able to just pop it in the mail easily. I did the same thing. I just left off the shaker package. So this one has embossed layer, same embossed layer again. A little bit addicted. Oh, and I realized on this one I did put the debossed side up. And then I put the same, like there, my bow and all my other stuff. But instead of having, I put this a little lower, you notice. But instead of having the shaker bits be the shiny stuff in the background, I just cut out a couple extra butterflies that are shiny. I could have added some more, like I said, some of the goop. I could have added some of the gems. But just, there's a little bit of gold in here, and then just kind of filling in that little bit of space. I'm shaking it like it's going to make noise. It's not going to. But you get the same card just without the shaker part. And then using kind of the same idea, element-wise, I have the same card base. I have an embossed layer. I have a big label. I have my flowers. I have my big bow tied behind. Again, not a shaker card, and a Christmas card. So these are the same flowers. Just when you stamp them in red, you say they're a pointed center. I did put on this one, I'm going to get going right. I did glue in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 of them in there. 6 of the gems in this biggest one. And then I put the goop in the middle of the other one. And I don't actually like the mix and match. I mean, it's just personal choice. It works just fine. So I either need to put extra little gems in there or take this one out. But I didn't want to rip the flower, so I just it's sort of how it is now. But yeah, I mix and matched a bit. I could have put like just a little smattering of goop and then put some of these gems like around here too if you want to spread out a little bit more. But because this is a bigger layer and because I spread the flowers out a bit, it covers most of the card. So this gives you the inspiration to do this. Like they don't necessarily look the same, but kind of the same elements just moved around a bit. And you're always allowed to drop elements off on things you don't want. So that was card 10. Now I gotta roll up my sleeves for 11. I just realized, I'm like, what did I do with all my stuff? Because speaking of goop, on day 11, we got the goop. So if you watched last week's video, I gave you, just a minute, I gotta pick up my stuff. There we go. I gave you the challenge to use the PDF. I put a bunch of different measurements in the PDF and take your 3 cards and envelopes. I have quite the stockpile of these little envelopes. And just make your own versions of 3 cards. Right? So that's all you have in your stuff, because you have like bits and pieces of all sorts. And this is the beauty of the little mini cards. Bits and pieces, man. You can use them for all sorts of things. I do need to get, just a minute, I get a card base here. Just so I can show you. I'll just get I do need a dark one, because we have a lot of just a minute. I know, I didn't even make a complete thought. All of a sudden I was just doing something else, but here we go. Okay. So one of the things that I tried to do on these cards, and I thought I will show you now, is I did some fun stuff with the goop. Just in case, because if you're not used to it, or you're like, and it is, you do have to let it dry, so does it work at classes? I think I told that story last week when I was trying to remember what the original name was, because it used to come in the little like bottles the size of like the ink refills in the kind of the same shape. And I did it at a kid's Christmas class, and I said to them, you can put a little bit of this on, and we had, I think, red, green, and gold. You can put a little bit of this on, but it takes a while to dry, so don't put too much. And I swear that one girl put half a bottle or more. Her card was so heavy, and it was just like, oh my goodness. And I just said to her mom, here you go, here's your card back. I don't know how long it's going to take to dry. She really enjoyed the glitter. So you do have to plan a little better. You can't just whip up a card, throw it in an envelope, and send it, because you do need to give it time to dry. But you can do fun things with it. So let's just see what I got in my little bag of tricks here. Just a minute. Some of them I'm not actually sure why they're in here, but okay. Oh, I got little samples and little cards. So I can't get them out. There we go. Okay. So one of the things I did was I just put it on, and I think I did that on one of these cards. I gotta split my cards out, because now I can't remember which card has which technique on it. My cards, my envelopes, everything's all screwed up. I got a 6-1 in here. Just a minute. Where'd it go? Yeah, it's because of the envelopes that it's oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So one of them, this one here, all I did was take this piece of cardstock, because I wanted to make a little strip, right? So you can see on this one here, I wanted to make this little strip, like a little bit of gold, kind of like glimmer paper, but mine's not nearly as dense. It was just sort of it was the idea of glimmer paper, so I don't need a piece that long. So you could use your finger. If you're going to use your finger, just have a little cloth handy, or you can use another piece of cardstock. But all I did was just put some goop down the middle, and then I just spread it out. So I just use the paper as a little spatula. I mean, I do actually have little spatulas that move for ink, and I have the little ones that go for um, the paste, but the stuff is sticky and glittery, and I don't like to have glitter on things other than the things I specifically put it on. So I tend to use just like a little scrap of cardstock or something. Now, if you wanted it thicker, then you just have to put a bigger bead to start with, or reapply. So just stuck my finger in it. But that's all I did. Is I put it like this. Now it's going to curve a little bit, but that's fine. I just kind of spread it out, and then I let it dry. And I did it, the other one, I did a little bit more evenly, but that's okay. And that's how I got this little strip here. But then, oh, here we go. For this card, I did basically the same idea, but I just spread it on top of the butterfly. And I did it after, right? So for this butterfly here, I did the same thing. I just took this stuff and I just kind of tap, tap, tap. And I just went around the edge of the die cut. I didn't even spread it with anything. I just kind of went around. And I'm not squeezing very hard. It's like in the Stampin' Up video, I think she called it glitter glue. Now I don't know that this is glue. I thought it was goop. Maybe she called it goo. I don't know. Maybe she did call it glue. It is a little bit sticky, but I don't think it's like glue sticky, so I have no idea. But I just did that and then let it dry. Look at me go. Oh, the butterfly just keeps flipping around. I thought I had it there. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay, that's really not the way to do it. And you definitely want to do this on your silicone mat, because then whatever mistake you make, or not mistake, mess you make, you just wipe off with the wipe afterwards. So I'm wiping this right away because I'm getting it all over everywhere, not surprisingly. And it's just wiping off with a Kleenex, but I would suggest maybe a baby wipe would be a good idea too. I didn't mention this last week. Which card did I put this on? One of the cards. These little puffy dudes are so cute. They're like absolutely adorable. I didn't put one on the inside of this card. This is a mini card, and this is already raised up a bunch. But these little mini guys, I was putting on the inside of cards too, because one of the cards we made last week didn't have a stamp to go with it. The one with all the ephemera. And so I was using these as like my inside stamps. So this was actually just a whole bunch of leftover DSP and like bits and pieces that were left over. There is actually no gold on that one. It's not a very good example of here's ways to use the gold. This one was actually the original, I think, like as close as I could tell by looking. I think the original Stampin' Up! One they did was they cut their card, their DSP exactly 3x3, so it covered the whole front of the card, and then they just put a little bit of label and a little die cut there. And this one I just put the gold embellishments, but you could also just use this like drops of gold, because then you can have as many different sizes as you want. With the embellishments, there's only 2 sizes. I like to have 3. So with this, you could make your own embellishments and have 3 different sizes. I did find, as I was putting it on things, because I thought I put it on the center one of the cards, but it turns out I didn't. If you wait and put your, like, let your ink dry. These are very small pieces, I'm realizing now. That's not very clear. If you let your ink dry and then you put the goop over top of it, you can put it over top of the colored pieces as well, and it looks really well. You don't just have to stick it on the white stuff. If you don't let it dry, if you're impatient, I don't know if it's going to show through there. Let's see if I can get it to, oh, kind of. It picked up that secret C in the middle. Oh, I thought I had it there for a minute. Ooh. And it kind of made my gold glitter a little bit blue. It sort of picked up the ink. So, I mean, it's a cool effect if you want to do it. It just sort of changed. So now I have like a glittery raised center, but it is more blue than gold. It kind of picked up the secret C. I imagine if you put it over, like freshly applied it over top of a lighter color, it might not show as much, but certainly over secret C it did. But yeah, just pop it over whatever color. Which one's it? This is the dry one. Okay. I gotta find somewhere to put these little pieces. And then probably the easiest thing you can do with it is just dab it, right? So this is one of the little cards I made. I absolutely love this card. And I just put little drops of it in the centers of all the flowers. And that way you can control how big or how small. Definitely 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 little drops of it in the middle of this big flower. With the other ones, all the other embellishments are way too big. You'd never be able to put that many. But so I did that with one of them. And then I told you I like the shaker stuff. So this was from the shaker card. And yes, the same embossing folder. And this is just one of the little ephemera that came with it. But I just picked out the individual little, oh, you can sort of see, the individual little daisies that were in there. And when you put them on their sequins, right, so there's a hole in the center. So I just put the tiniest little drop of the gold in the middle to fill in the middle. So it fills in the center plus gives it a shiny center. So that's how I made that one. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have other like tips, tricks, techniques of things you did with this. But I found there was a few different ways you could use it. I quite enjoyed it. I was having fun playing. Again, not really a gold person. You could do it with any of the colors of if they come out with it. I think it was last Christmas they had them, so they would have retired probably the spring of 2025. They had the metallic set, and then they had the set that had, I think it was red, white, and black in it. Because those ones with the white and stuff, you could have also just put re-inker in it and made it whatever color you wanted. But I expect we'll see more of this again. Like this little bottle's only going to last so long, but I expect we'll see more goop again in the future. So I'm just going to carefully pick this up. So yeah, I didn't give you like specific stuff. Everything on these cards just came out of the kit. I took, oh no, I lied, sorry. A couple of the labels I just took out of my box of leftover labels that I have. I'm guessing I'm not the only one that has a box of leftover labels. Okay, so now that I have it on my fingers, everything is sticking to my fingers. Sorry, just one second. There we go. Yeah, that's dry enough on there now that the Kleenex is not going to work. So yeah, here, we'll move that out of the way to clean. So in your PDF, like this one will say cardstock this size embossed. This one will say cardstock. I'm going to put all the envelopes back with me again. They got all screwed up. This one will say the cardstock size is this and the DSP size is this. And this one will just tell you that it's like strips of the like background stamping and whatever color the strips were. The cards themselves are 3 by 6. It just as a fun fact, I used to make a lot more mini cards. If you want to get an even number of mini cards, if you cut your cards 2 3/4 by 5 1/2, 2 3/4, 2 3/4, and now I can't remember, is it 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9? You can get, so you cut your card in half at 5, and then you get 3, so you can get 6 cards out of one sheet of cardstock. If you do it 2 3/4 by 5 1/2, because then when you fold it in half, it's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 square, whereas this one is 3 by 3, and this one just fits in the envelope. Like these envelopes are 3 1/8, but as long as it's not like you just put, I mean, most mini cards just have maybe one popped up layer on them, they'll fit in the envelope. But if you wanted to have a little more fancy or do little stuff on it, or just get more out of one sheet of paper, it's a little more cost efficient. Yeah, just make them 2 3/4 by 5 1/2, and then you'll get more out of it. So yeah, just go through if you want. And mini cards are fun. Like they're fun to make. You can take any little like a little vignette and make it into just a little mini card, because you don't have to fill up as much space. I got to clean up my mess before I can show you the next part. But yeah, so if you want to make some up and then just kind of show what ideas you came up with, that's very cool. But it's also that's gonna have glitter all over it. We'll just get rid of that one. It's also kind of cool because I think that mini cards make a good focal point on a bigger card. So if you cut this in half, like so you take, actually you could leave it like this and you have a little like a surprise on the front that opens up, and then the whole bigger card opens up. You could do that. But if you take just the idea of a 3 by 3 square and put it on the card, right, you could have it here. You could have DSP in the background, a little bit of background stamping. I gotta use some different ones. You could take, I can't pick it up. There we go. You could take the same element and put it on the card like this, like with the lighter ones. Put it in the center. You can do it like this with all imagery, and then instead of putting the sentiment here, you can put the sentiment down below. So this gives you, like, 3x3 is a great focal point in the middle of a card. If you do it on white cards, I could do this, and even if you don't background stamp the whole thing, or you could put a bit of blender brush and kind of around the area that you're going to put it in and pop it in the middle. Or you could have the same as we did on one of the other cards, where you do like a little bit of stamping here and a little bit of stamping here and pop one of these down. So 3x3 mini cards, cute to give, good to like pop in with, you know, homemade banana bread or the flowers or the bottle of wine or the whatever you're giving somebody. But they're also great little templates for the front of cards. So I thought we'd have some fun with them. So I'd be curious to know what you guys made of them. Now the last card, Project 12, on that day we got the die cuts, the white die cuts, and the little background pieces. And so I basically made, this is the alternate for the other one. This was the first card I made because I was on a roll with this one, right? So this, if you look at this, this is basically a 3x3 square that I made. This is the, like I said, the little embossed cards that came with it. And then this is the die cut that came with it. And all I did was color this die cut with my blends, right? Just don't go too close to the edge of one color and see how much it spreads first. I put a little bit of embossing behind it and a strip. So any one of these, well, that matched. I mean, you could sub out any one of these cards, right? So that's the beauty of this. And I guess I had 3x3 on the brain because it wasn't intentional. I was going to show you afterwards, hey, you just pop one of these on a card. But it turns out that it's one of my go-to layouts is to do it this way. So this is the alternate before I show you the actual sample. How's that? So this was our final project, Project 12. Just a minute. So I did this one first. And then I thought, okay, that's a lot of pink. For me, that's a lot of pink. So then I made it into a green one. Was the second one I made. And so, and this is why I can't remember if I posted these pictures. I guess I could just look. I can't remember if I posted any of the alternates. I don't think I did. Nope. So then I made a green one, which is the same idea as the final card we're making, but just a different background. And again, I just took the little white ephemera or die cut pieces and I just colored them with blends and kind of stuck them down. But again, I was like, whew, lots of color. And so I ended up switching to the final card, and then I absolutely loved this one because I was just sort of pulling back. I thoroughly enjoyed making all these cards and doing it and playing with them, and I've used it for other projects and stuff, but it's super bright and super colorful, and by the time I got to the end, I was like, how about let's go with something neutral? So in the end, I went with the neutral one. But I did give you, in your little package, the pink piece, only because this was a new embossing folder, and I thought it's a cool embossing folder, and if you don't have it yet, I want to say it was in the November online exclusives. And it's called Stripes or something. So I gave you one in the Flirty Flamingo, and then I gave you one in the white that we were actually making the card with, just in case you wanted to like make an alternate. And if I had maybe made the pink card with a white base, it wouldn't have been quite so pink, you know. And then you do have the pieces. Just a minute, I'm trying to put that one back in there. You do have the pieces so that you can cut your 3 little squares. This is the smallest of the dies out. And then if you're kind of wondering, just a minute, what is this? Oh, right. If you're kind of wondering, okay, that's all well and good. We made this card, which, sorry, I guess I could, I don't know that I necessarily need to walk you through it because it just has the embossed layer. I popped up these guys, and I just glued these guys on with like spots of liquid glue, just because they're small and because they came pre-cut. If I was cutting these myself, I would cut them with an adhesive sheet on the back because even the parts that are sticking off, which I like, You just don't peel the adhesive sheet off those parts, right? But it worked with the little liquid glue, and then I just sort of popped it all down. But just to give you some ideas of the cards for that one. But yeah, if you had watched the Stampin' Up! Reveal that they did for the last day, they did it with, she made a box. She took the newest things that she got, these two, like the new products, and then she made it into a box, and she put all sorts of things on it, and I think she put cards in it. I don't know what she did. But so I thought, well, what if they're expecting to make a box? So I gave you, these were called, these are retired, and I found when I was cleaning out my dresser, when I was moving things, I found that I have like, I don't know, 6 of them or something. I had a little package of them. It wasn't very many. And I thought, well, I'm going to give you a box just in case you want to, and you can turn it into, like you can make a treat holder if you want. So these boxes can close one of 2 ways. Like you can have that little thing on the top, or you can close it in the middle. They all self-glue, but I think when you get them done, they also do this. So if you wanted to, better pop that out. There we go. If you wanted to, you could have also made yourself a box, or you could make all of them. Make all the alternates and all the cards and all the boxes. Just a minute, I'm having trouble getting that in there. I don't normally have this much trouble with treat holders. Not really sure why I am. There we go. There we are. So you can close up the little box. And yes, there's one of these little things in there, the little gold sticker with the little thing, which you could just put on a card if you wanted to. But it's just if you want to close this so it doesn't pop open. I find they don't pop open, but you can always close it if you want. Or put a belly band on it so that you don't have to destroy your decorations to do it. And then this could just be like one of the elements in it. But that's how these boxes came. They had these little stickers on them to close them up. So I just thought I'd give you a treat box just in case you wanted to. So yes, I was emptying my craft room and filling yours. You're welcome. So there we go. I can't believe how tonight's projects, it's kind of funny. Some were bigger projects, some were smaller projects. I'm trying to look at what time my thing is at. 42. See, that's not too bad at all. I knew some of these cards were going to be a little bit like less time consuming at the end, and I had prepped a bunch of stuff for you. But at the same time, I kind of figured by the time we got to the end of all the projects, you might want something simple. January is usually a long month, and it has absolutely flown by this month. And it's just been crazy. And the weather and the busyness and how much is going on. So if this is just a little decompress, little mental palate cleanse, as it were, then I'm happy that these cards were a little bit easier this month. So there we go with our cards. Well, this one there's a whole bunch of, but for projects 10, 11, and 12. And thank you guys very much for getting the kit and the PDF and doing all the stuff. I would love to see any of the cards you guys made, especially if you make any little minis. I'd love to see that, or just any alternates or any little adjustments you made to the cards. Love to see them. So I'm going to put this post up, and then I'm going to sort of pin a post at the top that says, show your stuff or something. And then everybody can it'll just kind of stay at the top. So as you go, you can just add to it. I'm going to leave these videos up for a while. I have no plans to take. I'll just leave the group open. I'm going to show the cards on my live tomorrow, like all the projects. And so if anybody new buys the PDF and they want to have access to the group to see the videos, because the videos are just kind of, they only really exist in this closed group. But they will go with the PDF. So if anybody wants to see the videos to go with the PDF, I'll just basically be keeping this group open. So if I am at any point going to close the group or have to, or Facebook changes, or not Facebook, YouTube changes something, I will let you guys know first, just in case you want to watch or download the videos, or I think you can download the videos. I have no idea. I'm always here if there's questions. And if you do find any glitches or anything in the PDFs, let me know. And I will fix them, and I will give a new one. So far, we haven't found any mistakes, so maybe I lucked out and actually got it right this time. Okay, so thank you, everybody, for joining me for the Advent Calendar Extras, and I hope to see you at a future class. Bye.